this episode, we dive into the ruthless power struggle tearing through the SAPS. Top corp positions are wide open, and the battle to claim them is fierce. Factions within the police are turning on each other, digging up dirt and stabbing backs to rise through the ranks and take control of the force. But the rot doesn't stop with the police. Some prosecutors within the NPA have become the legal muscle for South Africa's underworld, shielding drug lords, protecting corrupt politicians and crooked cops, and even targeting innocent people to keep their criminal allies safe. One of the names in the spotlight is Advocate Andrew Chauke. Recently suspended, Chauke is allegedly part of a network of corrupt prosecutors who deliberately mishandle high-profile cases to protect powerful people. According to Mkonazi, parts of the judiciary have been captured by the very cartel that's running South Africa's drug empire from the shadows. Now in this episode, we take a look into the men and women who were meant to uphold justice but ended up using it to enrich themselves. Inside the SAPS, divisions are deep, and President Ramaphosa's inquiries may not be enough to fix the mess, but at very least, they might expose some truth about the power plays and internal warfare within the police. Right now, the biggest rivalry is between Lieutenant General Mkonazi and General Shadrack Sibiya. But make no mistake, this war runs far deeper than just the two men. Remember when Mkonazi said there was a plot to charge him and force him out? It wouldn't be the first time a good cop was pushed aside on bogus charges, only to be replaced by someone even worse. This happened to Peter Jacobs. Jacobs was a former head of crime intelligence who was suspended in December of 2020 for allegedly misusing 1.5 million from Intelligence Secret Fund to buy COVID-19 PPE equipment or personal protective equipment for the police. But in reality, had just started digging into dirty procurement deals and rogue police within the SAPS, including some high up in crime intelligence. Now the PPE story was just a convenient excuse to get rid of him, and his replacement was Dumsane Khumalo, who's now facing corruption charges himself. He's accused of looting the secret fund, splurging, even buying a boutique hotel in Pretoria and buying a building in Durban, and even appointing a civilian without any experience to brigadier position in the intelligence. Outside the police, one of South Africa's biggest threats lies within the judiciary, where too many corrupt figures have climbed to the top. Take Nomgcobo Jiba, for example, appointed as acting National Director of Public Prosecutions by Jacob Zuma. She didn't go after the corrupt, she protected them. Jiba became a legal shield for powerful individuals like Zuma himself, former intelligence boss Richard Mdluli, Busasa executives, and others. Instead of fighting crime, she weaponized the law to destroy those trying to clean up the system, people like prosecutor Gerinel amongst the few. Eventually, Jiba was removed from the NPA, but her influence didn't vanish. Many prosecutors loyal to her stayed behind, still pulling strings, still sabotaging major cases, and still protecting the corrupt from inside the system. This is exactly what Nhlanhla Mkonazi meant when he warned that elements of the judiciary are part of a criminal cartel, one that's not only running Gauteng but possibly the entire country. Now, the spotlight has turned to Advocate Andrew Chauke. President Ramaphosa has suspended him with immediate effect. Chauke, who served as Director of Public Prosecutions in South Gauteng since 2011, is believed to be part of Jiba's old network, carrying on her legacy of shielding the powerful. His suspension follows explosive allegations that shake the foundation of the NPA. Under Chauke, his office handled major cases involving corruption, organized crime, and violent offenses. But one decision stands out. In 2014, Chauke withdrew serious charges, including a hit, kidnapping, and intimidation against Richard Mdluli, the former crime intelligence boss. Now, back in March 2011, when Mdluli was arrested for allegedly orchestrating the 1999 hit of Oupa, Ramugibe, a man who was married to Richard Mdluli's ex-girlfriend, and Mdluli was not happy about that. Now, the charges against Mdluli were heavy. It was hit, attempted hit, assault, kidnapping, intimidation, and obstruction of justice. And yet Chauke thought, nah, let this guy go. Another case was the Katomina Crime Unit, a hard-hitting, controversial police squad that was based in Durban under the Hawks. They were formed to fight the worst of the worst, drug lords, gang bosses, and violent syndicates in KZN. But when they got too close to corruption linked to high places, the state flipped the script. Now, corrupt prosecutors, including Chauke, pushed the narrative that the unit was a rogue hit squad. Sunday Times even ran a big expose about it, and they later had to apologize when they were cleared of any wrongdoing. But many believed the real reason why they were targeted was because of their investigations into politically connected business people, especially one businessman who got shady police tenders and was linked to Jacob Zuma's son, Edward. Even though Advocate Chauke has been suspended, let's be honest, it's not enough, because he didn't work alone. The cases he's accused of mishandling went he's doing alone. He was part of a group of attorneys, a network. So how do we know the next person to take Chauke's place won't be from the same faction? See, these people have deep roots and real power inside the NPA. In fact, the head of the NPA had already tried to get rid of Chauke. She even raised the issue directly with President Ramaphosa, but for 2 years, nothing happened. Chauke kept on working on sensitive, high-profile cases until General Mkhonazi dropped the bombshell. Only then did things suddenly start moving. Shadrack Spear has accused Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhonazi for secretly running a rogue or a parallel investigation unit inside the police. He claims Mkhonazi used the KZN Political Killings Task Team to target politicians they didn't like. But judging by the recent headlines, where several powerful Gauteng kingpins have been exposed, Mkhonazi's claims are proving to be true. But what's clear is this: the SAPS is in the middle of a leadership crisis. Too many corrupt officers have climbed to the top, and the rot is now impossible to hide. With Dumsane Khumalo fired as head of intelligence, that powerful position is once again up for grabs, and it's not the only one. The Hawks are also leaderless since Godfrey Lebeya stepped down. No permanent replacement has been appointed. But the most cursed job of them all is the National Police Commissioner, the so-called top cop. Right now, Fanema Semola still holds the title, but dark clouds are gathering. It's an open secret that he's going to be on the next chopping block. He's allegedly linked to the looting of the Secret Intelligence Fund and is accused of signing on irregular spending, including the controversial purchase of the 2 buildings now tied to charges against Khumalo. Every police commissioner before Masemola has been fired or forced out under a dark cloud of corruption. This whole thing started with Jackie Slebe, who was busted for ties to drug lord Glenn Agliotti and ended up behind bars. Then Begicele was fired for giving a friend an irregular tender for 1.6 billion rands. Then Ria Pierre, with no experience, was thrown into the deep end and quickly set up to fail. Then Khomotso Phahlane fell into the corruption and tender fraud. Then Kehlas Tole, who was taken down not only just by scandals, but by the rivalry between himself and Begicele, who Cele is said to hold serious influence with President Ramaphosa. So far, no one has survived the commissioner's seat with their reputation intact. It's like a curse. The moment you occupy that office, you are already on borrowed time. Now, Mkhonazi was also an acting National Police Commissioner for a brief moment after Begicele was fired in 2012. He was young at the time, I think he was 38. But as soon as Mkhonazi tried cleaning the SAPS from within, he quickly got demoted by Zuma. Then Riapieja was next in the chopping block. With so many powerful positions up for grabs, the race inside the SAPS is on and is turning brutal. Ambitious officers are digging up dirt on their rivals, playing dirty to get ahead. It's every man for himself in a no-rules battle for control. Both Mkonazi and Spear are now closer than ever to the top, and in this game, power isn't earned, it's taken. The truth is, SAPS has never been clean. Real change would threaten the political careers of too many powerful people. That's why corruption keeps coming back. It protects those at the top. Will anything change after the new inquiries? Honestly, no. Nothing is gonna change. We'll be lucky if Mkonazi stays. But as long as the same people are still in power, nothing is changing.